This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to goonlinetrainings.com. So we were talking about a lot of string functions yesterday and upper, lower, left, right, length, reverse. I'll give you one video. You will be understanding what is the upper, what is lower. Just go through that. And one more function today, I'm going to be focusing on string aggregation. Clear? So this is very, very important function. The other day, uh, many students got interview questions on this, okay, and char index, pat index, all of them got covered, but string aggregations, so we need to understand today. There is a table called employee table. So employee doesn't have a primary key. I have a duplicate data here, right? Employee doesn't have a primary key, so there is no duplicate data. So what has happened here? Now this is a 1 minute.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, if you see carefully, I have one table, so where I have one John and one Kennedy. There is no primary key on this, if you see carefully, and two Bhaskar and two Jogi and three Wiki. So this is the data I have it in SQL Server, but the output I need like this. Okay, John Kennedy, if the employee number is the same, when the employee number is the same, I wanted to have the record John, comma Kennedy. I wanted to, display the data like this. If the employee number is, Bhaskar and Jogi, then I don't want to display in two records. I wanted to concatenate two rows. Clear? So I would like to concatenate two rows, Bhaskar, comma Jogi. So I have wiki. There is no one more row for wiki. I should be able to get the single row like this. Okay. So this is what is my, data. Now I wanted to have like this. If you wanted to display like this, then definitely you should be able to use string aggregate function. So without that also you can do the query, but it is very, very complicated query. If you wanted to aggregate this data, then definitely it will take lot of complexity to understand or complexity to write the query. So we have a function called string aggregate function. With the help of that, you should be able to say concatenate, or you should be able to say display like this. So all the values with one has to be concatenated like this, and all the values with two has to be concatenated Bhaskar, comma Jogi like this. And for that, so this is the query you should be able to write it. So what I have done, I have created a table called employee table. Remember, there is no primary key in this. I said only not null. So I'm inserting John Kennedy and Bhaskar Jogi and Vicky. So this is the data got inserted, and this is my table. Clear? If you see this table, I have John Kennedy, Bhaskar Jogi, Vicky, but my customer does not need the data like this. He wanted to create, and display the data like this. So this is the data, and I wanted to have the output like this. So for that, we're going to be using string aggregate function. It is like this: employee ID, and you can use string aggregate. So what is the column that you wanted to aggregate? The column name is called employee name. That I wanted to aggregate. So employee name, and after the thing, what is that you wanted to have? So you wanted to have comma, you can put comma, or I don't need any comma, I need a space. So after John, I need a space, then Kennedy, then Bhaskar space Jogi. So whatever you wanted to have, that special character we can give as employee name from employee, group by employee ID. So we must use group by clause here. So let me execute the, so this is my actual data, and I wanted to use string aggregate function, which is going to be taking the the column which you wanted to concatenate, and what is the special characters that you wanted to implement. You can put comma, then you will get commas. So John, comma Kennedy, so Bhaskar, comma Jogi. I don't need like this, I need a space. Let me execute this. Now you can understand, see this data clearly. So let me copy this, right click, copy with header. So when you copy with the header, so this is the data you can expect. See, John space Kennedy. Bhaskar space Jogi. Vicky only single name is there. I don't have the second name. I'm able to get it. So there is no primary key. Compulsory interview question. Clear? So John Kennedy, Bhaskar Jogi. I wanted to concatenate both of them. Concatenate not columns, rows. I wanted to concatenate rows. So people will say string aggregate function is used to concatenate rows. Clear? Normally we can concatenate what? Columns, right? We should be able to concatenate columns, but it should be used to concatenate rows. For example, a I have employee first name and employee last name. Now tell me, what are we concatenating? If I say Bhaskar and Jogi, right? So normally you will be able to get the data like this. Or you may have, John, say Kennedy. Okay. So concatenating this is very much easy. Bhaskar, Jogi. We should be able to concatenate very, very easily, right? So with the help of F name plus L name. So anybody can concatenate this kind of a thing very, very easily. This is what is called concatenate column. Columns you can concatenate very, very easily by putting plus name, first name plus last name. So if you have the query like this, if you wanted to concatenate, it is very simple. So how to write the query? Yesterday we had seen. You need to write simply first name and plus you can say last name as full name. Okay. So here if you wanted to get a full name here, let me write full name. If you wanted to get full name here, so this is very, very simple. Employee ID, first name and last name. If you have null values, you must use is null. Then you can say comma like this and is null if you have nulls. Otherwise, no need of writing this as well. And that's it. So as full name, it is going to work without applying group by clause. So concatenate columns is pretty much easy, which is very, very straightforward. Okay, first name plus last name as full name. But I'm talking about concatenating rows. Concatenating what rows? So John and you have Kennedy, Bhaskar and Jogi. How do you concatenate and display John, Kennedy, Bhaskar, Jogi? So this is the thing that you need to use string aggregate. If you say use comma here, you can use comma. There is no there is a difference. So you should be able to see the commas there. If you go back and understood, so you should be able to get the comma. Have you seen this? John, comma Kennedy, Bhaskar, Jogi, Vicky. It is John space Kennedy, Bhaskar space Jogi. So whatever be the special character that you wanted to have, you should be able to have it. So this is concatenate. Okay, concatenate what? Rows. So this is what is called concatenating columns. So anybody can do this. There's no problem at all. So this is concatenating two columns. So columns concatenation is pretty much easy. You don't need any special function here. But I'm talking about concatenate rows. If you wanted to concatenate rows, so we must use string aggregate function. Clear? So this can also we can easily understand what is concatenating columns and what is concatenating rows. Clear, guys? And this is very, very important function, string aggregate function. Whatever be the column that you want, column data that you wanted to concatenate, that you need to keep it here. And whatever be the special, symbol that you wanted to have, first name, comma, last name, first name, space, last name. If you wanted to get it, you can have it. So here there is no first name, last name. It is employee name only. Clear? The same thing I wanted to display as a full name. So John, comma Kennedy, Bhaskar Jogi Kennedy. So it's Bhaskar, comma Jogi, something like this. So this is very, very important function. In recent times, it is asked in all the interviews, guys. Clear? How to concatenate columns we know, but we're talking about concatenate rows. Clear? So this is the data I have it and I wanted to concatenate and say John space Kennedy. What is the function that you're going to be using? The function that we're going to be using is string aggregation, aggregate function. So what is the syntax? You need to supply the column name that you wanted to concatenate And what is a special character that you wanted to have in between? So that is when you need to, give any special character. Okay. So this is very, very important function, guys. So remember, and which is very, very easy. So pat index and cat index, concat space, all these things. I have a separate video. I'll post it today. Please watch, and you can just, understand uh, the string functions. It is very, very important. It's very, very important that you do the practice without fail. And this is what we discussed today, concatenating rows. So here you should not have duplicate, you should not have the primary key. If there is a primary key, then this is not going to work. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, and 1, 2. It's going to be grouped based on the number, and it is going to be concatenating. So John, comma, Kennedy, Bhaskar, comma, Jogi. So without a string aggregate function, you try to implement it. It is very, very complex. Without a string aggregate function, when you try to implement it, it's very, very complex, complex query to concatenate rows like this. Am I clear? Now we have between operator. List the names of the customers whose balance between 10,000 to 50,000. List the names of the customers whose balance between 10,000 to 15 customers. There is a between operator that you can use. So select name from account master, balance between 10,000 and 50,000. So the question is, does it take 10,000 and 50,000 as well, or it includes only in between values? So that is also one more interview question. So between operator includes lower limit and upper limit and in between values. It is equivalent to less than or equals to and greater than or equals to. Remember this point. Between operator includes lower limit as well as upper limit and in between values. Let me write this query. Okay. So between operator, we can try. Let me. Okay, so it's a very, very important thing that you can have it anytime, anywhere. So let me go back. So validate email. So this I think I would have discussed in the care index. You can just, when you learn the care index and pat index, and I would have, explained about validating email and everything. Just go to that and watch this video. So now I wanted to understand select star from the table. So I'm talking about C balance here, right? So C balance between. So I say where clause C balance column name between. Okay, between 10,000 and I say 50,000. This is the syntax. If you see, you should be able to get 10,000. See, there is a 50, if a 10,000 is included here, 10,000 included, and I don't have any 50,000, but if you have 50,000, that is also included. So update account master, and I try to update one row and see 50,000, where account ID is equals to 50,000. Okay, sorry. Account ID is equals to 101. So James Camerons. So let me see. I have updated 50,000 as well. So 101 balance is 50,000 and a few other balances are 10,000 and in between values also you should be able to get it. So between operator includes what? Lower limit and upper limit and in between values. Remember. Okay. So between operator is equivalent to lesser than or equals to and greater than or equals to. Clear? So that is what you need to understand. So greater than 10,000 or equals to and lesser than 50,000 and equals to, something like that you can understand. It includes lower limit and upper limit. Understand this point very well. Many interviewers are going to be confusing you. So list the names of the customers who have opened the accounts between 2010 and 2012. Okay. So between 2010 and 2012, who are the customers who has opened the accounts? So date part YYDOO, it will bring you the year number, between 2010 and 2012. In between, if you have any accounts there, so those accounts are shown to you because I have to bring out the only year number. To bring out the year number, we know that we must use the date part function. Date part YYDOO between 2010 and A and A end. So symbols will not work, and you cannot say 2010 to TO2 will not work. TO2 will not work because it is not a English. It is a SQL syntax that we are writing. And 2012. Clear, guys? So this is between operator. And I wanted to understand a case statement. Okay. So if you learn programming, for example, if you study C, C++, Java, Python, from day one onwards, they're not going to be teaching you how to store data. So any programming language is going to teach you how to process the data. Process means you have some data. How can you do summing operation on the data? How do you do minus operation on the data? How do you loop through the data? How do you find out the maximum? How do you find out the minimum? All these are called operations. Clear? Processing. So any language, if you take C, C++, Java, .NET, language is there to process the data. I would have told you in the day one itself, right? But RDBMS is used to store the data. To store, and we also do the processing. Clear? But when you compare with SQL language with C, C++, Java, .NET, they are having much more programming concepts. Those are very, very hi-fi languages, and a lot of features are available, and a lot of programming can be done. So programming means, understand, programming means the execution is going to be happening, complete execution is going to be happening in the RAM. Any programming is going to access most of the time only the RAM. Declare a variable. So day one itself, they'll say how to declare a variable in C, C++, Java, and Python. Without a variable, you will not be able to store the data. Clear? If you wanted to find out three numbers, they'll say declare variable A, declare variable B, declare variable C, and put three numbers, and they say the total is this much. So they will be storing the data into variable, and variables are stored in a RAM memory. Clear? And on that only, they're going to be trying to do what is the maximum number, what is the minimum number, what is the average number, what is the total. So all the processing is going to be happening in the RAM. So programming is going to be happening only in the memory. So C is going to be executing everything against memory, or C++, Java, .NET. They don't go to hard disk. They don't go to hard disk. Any programming is going to be accessing only two things, processor and the RAM. They never ever go to hard disk. But only one technology, that is RDBMS technology, which is primarily focusing on storing the data. The primary focus of the RDBMS is stored the data and get the data with the help of SQL language. Again, it is going to be processing. Language processing means it has to happen in the RAM only. Processing, computing will be happening in the RAM. Storing is going to be happening in the hard disk. Clear? But if you study any C, C++, Java, .NET, they don't know how to go to hard disk and pick up the data. They cannot. Clear? So those people will create lot of variables in the RAM, and they're storing one or two numbers, and you should be able to do some kind of a processing. Clear? So all the programming is going to be executed inside your RAM only. Only RDBMS is going to store the data in the hard disk, and it will get the data for the processing purpose. We're writing SQL commands, right? So it can store the data SQL, as well as SQL is going to be bringing the data and do some kind of a programming. So in programming, we have a lot of constructs are there. You can use loops. We can declare variables. We can write if and else. We can declare pointers. We can declare arrays. We can declare structures. Lot of things can be done in the C and C++, but all those programming constructs are not available in our SQL. Clear? So there is a if and else. If something is this, do like this. If something is this, do like this. So that if and else clause is not available in SQL language. But instead of if and else, we have a case statement syntax. Clear? Case, when something is true, you do this. Case, when something is a true expression, you can write and do like this. Else you do like this. So this is equivalent to case statement is equivalent to if and else in the programming languages like C, C++, Java, .NET. Clear? So if you wanted to come into the IT industry, anybody, if you wanted to come into the IT industry, I strongly recommend you should know one RDBMS. At least you should learn one basic programming, any basic. For example, you have a lot of videos on C language in the YouTube. Just study what is a C language. So study some 10-20 hours of C language in YouTube. I strongly recommend that. It will give you a lot of programming constructs. Many people will tell me, sir, stored procedures are very very complex for me because it is having a programming. Why don't you study 10 days, only 10 days for C language? Anyhow, you're going to be watching a lot of movies in the Saturday and Sunday, right? Why can't you study 10 days of C language? C is very very easy language. You study at least 10-20 classes daily, half an hour, 1 hour. You study, a lot of videos are available. Or at least you study some Java for 10 days, or Python. Python is now hot skill in the market. At least study one language for not to learn something. Just watch it like a movie only. Just how they are accessing, how they are reading, how they are writing programming. So how the programming can be written, you would understand. Clear? End of the day, another 20 years of the time, you wanted to work with the IT industry. That means without programming, you cannot survive. Remember this. Without programming, you cannot survive. Whether you write 100% of programming or 10% of the programming, you need to write programming. So many people will tell me, sir, I am not able to write the programming. So if you wanted to write a programming, say stored procedure is a programming. So where you're going to be declaring variables, you're going to be doing a lot of things. All of them are going to be, you know, coming from the programming constructs like programming languages like C, C++, Java, .NET. Clear? You don't need to learn 6 months of Java. You need not learn 2 months of C language and 4 months of C++ and 1 year of Java and 1 year of .NET. I am not telling. So the basics, at least how to write simple C programming. Just understand, read small books if you have, or try to, you don't execute. Don't write the program as well. At least see how they are teaching what is the C language for 10 days. So half an hour, 10 minutes programs will be there, but at least start from the scratch. Don't pick up one program of C and try to understand. You will not be able to understand. C language from basics, Python language from basics. At least one language if you study well. I'm not talking about completely you learn. At least some 10 hours of language, at least 20 hours of language. When you learn, you can understand, oh, this is the way these people are writing the programming. The same program you can write here, that is called as a stored procedure. If you learn Python, and Python is definitely a complex programming. So, but if you compare with the Python programming with stored procedure, it is only 5% of those constructs. But these 5% are SQL guys way, sir, it is very, very, complex programming, stored procedure. So I say, you study one programming language, you'll understand how easy to write a stored procedure. The problem is you don't know that, right? People are running, 100 kilometers, 50 kilometers, and I'm not able to go not even 100 meters. I'm saying, so running is very very complicated measure. So if you go out and run at least for 1 kilometer, you will come to know running 500 meters is very very easy. But the problem is, I am not I'm at least not walking. Forget about running. I am not walking. So if I don't walk and running of half a kilometer will be painful for me. Clear? So people who wanted to come to the IT industry, anybody. So whether they learn a reporting or whether they learn data science or whether they wanted to learn SAP, anything they wanted to learn tomorrow, let them learn. But you tell them, ask them to learn one RDBMS and at least one basic language. Ask them to learn first. Forget about whether they learn data science or Python, this one, that one. At least these two things they should know, then they can gain anything very, very easily. Clear? You have much more videos are available nowadays. From basics, you need to study, very, very basic to study. At least some 10, 20 classes of C language. I strongly recommend that. So case is going to be implemented only for the if and else purpose. Let me give you one nice example so that you would understand what is the programming all about. If you learn the programming, you enjoy a lot. Then you never ever say programming is very, very complex. Programming is very, very simple. Programming is not very complex. Let me tell you where exactly I'm going to be using case statement. Now, this is my query, account ID, name, C balance. Now, the requirement is that when the C balance is, let us say case, this is the syntax. When you start the case, you need to end it. Say case, start and casing end. Let me put all the columns like this, one by one. So this is how you have to have your columns. Do you know? So this is how a professional will write his queries. So this is the way. Account ID, name, C balance, and case starting and case issued end with end. Now you say when C balance is less than, let us say 10,000, hmm, then I'm saying customer is a silver customer. This is the expression. What is the expression? When the C balance is less than 10,000, the customer type is a silver. Now, the next one is one more expression you can write. When the C balance between 10,000 and 50,000, the customer is, let us say, gold customer. Else means the remaining customers are called as diamond customers. So this will give me a one more column as I'll say customer type. So this is if and else. If something is this and you display like this. If something is this and you display like this, else you display. So I'm telling 10,000 between operator will include 10,000 and 50,000. I'm giving only less than 10,000 here. So this is my query. Let me execute it. Now you see. So if it is 10,000 to 50,000, the customer is gold. It's going to be creating one more column called customer type. Clear? And it's a diamond customer because it is coming to else part, right? So who's a silver? This guy is a silver customer. So you can display the data like this by putting if and else. We cannot use if and else in the queries. Instead of if and else, so SQL language is given one more concept called case, when and then. Open the case and end the case. This is the alias. Alias you can give like this, right? So alias can be given. If you don't give any alias, it will be like this. Some people will give me like this, and you can also give, you can also give, you know, alias like this. You can also give like this alias. This is also alias. So customer type is equivalent to, this is also alias only. Now try to execute this. Now you should be able to get. So giving alias, you can use as and give the alias name, or you can say customer type equivalent to say, like this. For example, let me give you a simple example. select count star as a count from account master table. So what is the alias here? Alias is this, that we know. Even as is not compulsory, I told you, you can give simply space, that is also fine. If you remove this, it will tell you no column name. But you can also write like the C and T is equivalent to, what is this? This is also an alias. Okay. So C and T is an alias. Now you see C and T is an alias. So, or you can say number of customers. Okay. Number of customers. What is number of customers is alias. We can also put like this and equals to operator. So this is also an alias. Or you can give like this as that already we know. I need not tell you this. Already we know. You can also give like this. Clear? So remember this point forever. So alias can be given like this as well. So sometimes you will see customer type. You will see the case here. So what is the meaning of this? This is an alias. Okay, this is an alias. If you remove, it will not have any alias. So it is going to be working without alias. Clear? So you can give after and also you can say customer type. Clear, guys? So this is how you should understand alias. If you don't give else, nothing will happen. So try to execute. So wherever else there you're getting nulls. If you remove this condition also, no problem. If that condition is not there, that is also fine. It is still going to work. So wherever, if it is less than 10,000, then the data will be silver and remaining things, it's not going to display anything here. Clear? So nothing is mandatory. Else block is not mandatory, and no block is mandatory. No expression is mandatory. If you wanted to write one expression, you can write. But what is compulsory? Case opening, case ending. How do you end with the case? End. End. Starting case. This is case starting with the case, ending with end as alias. So nothing is compulsory. So nothing is compulsory. If you don't write any expression, still it is going to work. If you wanted to write some expression, you can write, still also it's going to work. There is no problem at all. Clear? It's very, very important, guys. Yes. Now, let me give you one more example. I have a table called employee table, one Ravi, Lata, Surya, Kavya, and there is a male, female data. So how, if I'm having a male, then I wanted to prefix Mr. Ravi, Miss Lata, Mr. Suya, Mr. Kavya. Like that, I wanted to prefix Mr. and Miss. So how can we write? So this is how we should be able to write. So employee ID, employee name. What is this? Alias. Case. When gender is equivalent to male, then I'm saying concatenating. So Mr. is a constant plus name. Clear? Else Miss dot name. If it is M, then the Mr. name. So Mr. Ravi. Else Miss Lata and Mr. Surya, Miss Kavya. So if you wanted to get like this, people would ask you, this is my table and I wanted to have Mr. Ravi, Mr. Vicky, Mr. John, Mr. Miss Mary, something like that I wanted to have. So how do you create a query? So you can tell them that we can write case statement syntax only. We can use it and we should be able to write it. Clear? And recently, one more, question asked in the interview. You try to implement and let me know. What is the question? I'll tell you. So they ask you, so this is my table. I have an employee table, employee ID, employee name. They asked, wherever there is a M, wherever there is a M, that has to become F. Wherever there is a F, that has to become M. So you need to update the table like this. Clear? So the question is very, very simple. In many interviews, many interviews, this question is asked. I have a table, employee ID, employee name, employee gender, and in the employee gender, I have a lot of data like male data, female data, male data, female data. So they're asking you, If it is a male, you need to convert as a female. If it is a female, you need to convert as a male. If it is a male, you need to convert as a female. If it is a female, convert as a male. So write one update statement, and do the do this, case study. If you write like this, for example, if you say update employee table, set, okay, set gender is equivalent to male, where gender equals to female. If you write like this, what will happen? So wherever males are there, that will become female. That will become female. Now you need to write one more condition. What is the condition? Wherever male is there. Okay. So you try understand this issue here. Now one more. Wherever gender male is there, you make it to female. If you write this condition, everything will become male. So the interviewer is asking something and you're trying to do something. This will give you a lot of issues, right? If you write two statements, now this is gone, right? So we need to write single update statement. So wherever there is a M, it should become F, and wherever there is a F, it should become M. Clear? So that is the update that you need to write. So for that also, we can use a case statement syntax. Okay, where so case set gender, we can use open case. Okay, what is the expression? When, right? When gender is equivalent to male, then what? Then it is female. Okay, else it is male, and case end. So you should be able to write like this only. Clear? So if you write two statements, it is not going to work at all. Clear? So this is not going to work. So using the case also, you should be able to update. When there is a gender equals to male, it will become female. Else means it will become, oh, else means if it is a F, else means it is F means it will become male and end the case. Clear? It is a starting and ending. So you can use case statement. You can use case statement in the update as well. So this is a beautiful query that you can try and let me know tomorrow. Create one simple table with the gender and we have insert male and female, male and female. So if it is a female, you need to get male, and if it is a male, you need to get female. So this data should become female, female, and it should become male, like this, male and female and female. Clear, guys? This is very important question, interview question. This is asked in most of the interviews. In a single update statement, I need to have like that. So male has to become female, female has to become male. So how can you achieve? With the help of this one only. Clear, guys? Now, the next concept that we're going to be understanding is that subqueries. Clear? So I will start this now and I'll ask you one thing. Subquery is called as a nested query or inner query. So there is a question like this. Who has the highest balance in the bank? Okay. Who has the highest balance in the bank? You can try this query. You can try this query and let me know the answer, because already you have studied joins, you have studied group by clause, maximum, minimum, lot of things you have studied, right? So now the last concept we are going to be dealing with, only one or two concepts are left. Almost we came to the end. So subqueries and correlation subqueries, and it will take one more day. So that's it. Almost we came to the end. We are talking about subqueries. If you know subqueries and correlation subqueries, now we can start doing your case studies, right, guys? I have given you 3 case studies. You people have created only the tables, nothing else. Now let me open your case study. Let me open school case study first. What else you done? You have done only creating a table. So what I need from today? So you have to work on these queries. List the course-wise total number of students enrolled. Provide the information only for students of foreign origin and only if the total exceeds 10. List the names of the students who have not enrolled for Java course. List the names of the advanced course where the enrollment by foreign student is highest. These are the queries that you need to, you know, do it and send me. I have 13 queries here, and then we have a stored procedures. The stored procedure we can do it later, but this is a beautiful case study that you need to do. Okay, so write the query and put the answer in this. So you can, for example, you have written a query, you copy paste this, copy, and you can paste it like this, or this is my answer for this query, you can send me. So click on this. I don't need the numbering. So this is one query. If you wanted to neatly design, you can also have nice outside borders you can give. Okay, so this is the question and this is your answer. Okay, like that you can try second question and also copy this. You may be, having the answer. You copy the second one and remove these numbers. How to remove the numbers? So go here and click on this, numbers will go, and you can apply outside border. So at least it is neat and clean. So like that, you should be able to send me this. Clear? So this is the query and this is the answer. This is not the correct answer, but I'm telling you, this is how you need to start writing this. And if you have one more answer for this query, you can try to have that query as well. If you have one more query, you can try to copy and paste it and have it there. Okay, so that tomorrow so this is my query and this is my answer, right? So you should be able to do all the queries and send me this case study by this weekend, guys. So I am saying controlling Z. Clear? So this is not the thing. Clear? So once you do this case study in this weekend, the next case study that you need to start is supplier case study. Okay, so these are very, very important. Okay, only attending the class will not help you at all. You don't get algorithm, you don't get logical thinking, how to write the query and what is that I should use. Should I use group by clause? Should I use having clause? Should I join the table? Should I using where clause? What is the clause I should use? Should I sort the data? Should I apply not equals to operator, equals to operator? What is that I should do? So that you should be able to understand very, very easily. So sometimes one query may take 1 day, 2 day also. So I'm telling you, you never think that think that you can complete the query within 1 hour. No, not at all. Impossible. One query sometimes will take 2 days time, 3 days time, 4 days time also. If you don't start early, you will not be able to complete these two case studies. I have only queries in this, nothing else in the supplier. But in the first case study, we have stored procedure as well, so that we can see later. And once you're done school and this one, then we have one more beautiful case study, Indian Bank, which is a very, very complex case study. If you don't complete school and supplier, Indian Bank, you cannot start it. Clear? Because a lot of tables are available in this. Now, these are the business integrity rules. Forget about these rules now. And these are the views, that is also forget. And these are the query requirements. Page number 5. Page number 5 onwards, you have the query requirements. We have so total 25 queries in this. Clear? And these are the 25 queries, and then we have a stored procedure as well. Clear? And you try to implement in this these stored these queries. Okay, and later we can write views and lot of other things. These also we can implement later. So these are the three case studies I have given you. Now, so that you need to work on in this weekend. Clear, guys? So now, before working on that, let me give you one query. Who has the highest balance in the bank? Okay, so give me your answers, not today, tomorrow. Okay, don't Google it. Google means anybody can, even I can Google. So don't Google it, and try to think your answers, and write the queries, and let me know. So don't use subqueries. What is a subquery? You don't know, right? Without using subquery. So what is a subquery also you don't know. So that we'll discuss tomorrow. But whatever the concept you learned till today or till yesterday, group by clause, maximum function, whatever be the thing that you have used it, with the help of that, you should be able to answer this query. Who has the highest balance in the bank? So there is a nice article. The article says a query can be written in 50 ways, not only one way. You can use a lot of things, lot of different ways in which you should be able to write the query. So not only one answer, right? So you should be trying the query in different ways as well. So this is the one. You please do it, and let me know if you have any difficulties in the tomorrow's class. Clear? But definitely, this is the time you need to start with our case studies. Already joins, most of the queries needs joins. If you know joins and group by clause, having clause, then definitely start implementing those case studies. First, try to complete school case study, then try to start with the supplier case study. Once these are done, then try to implement Indian Bank case study. Clear? Only queries, nothing else. Only queries you need to write and keep them the answers and send me those case studies to me for the review. So this weekend, so today is, what is the day today? It is only the Tuesday, right? So we have whole week. So please try to complete one case study. Then in next week you can complete the second case. But don't tell me that you don't have a time and you have some emergency. So all of them are, I will not listen. Clear? So I have given you enough time, and try to implement. Whether it is right or wrong doesn't matter. Try to implement the query. Okay, if you write at least 5 queries, at least two or three you may get answers, but another two you may not be able to understand at least. Okay, but let us say try to solve it as much as possible. Try to think on it, try to understand, and send me your answers by this weekend. Thank you, guys, and tomorrow we'll continue on this. Clear? So, do you have any questions to ask?